Today, I'm going to show you how to create Fountain of Youth water. The things we'll need to create our Fountain of Youth water is a 1-glass bottle, and I'm using one that is a hand-blown glass bottle I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and it has a natural bluish tint to it, which I thought would really lend itself nicely to this one. We are going to use some distilled water and glycerin, but you also could use rubbing alcohol. I am going to be using the deep sky blue mica powder from that mica powder collection that I purchased a while back and showed you guys, and I'll put a link to that in the description down below. I am going to use a Light Up Cork. This one is chargeable by USB, but that is optional. We're going to embellish our bottle with some silver chain as well as a little hourglass charm that's got some black sand in it. And then we're going to use some black cording. And finally, our label printed on sticker paper, and the link for this is in the description down below. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is uncork our bottle, and we're actually going to get rid of this cork because I'm going to use the Light Up Cork. Again, that is optional, but I thought it'd be really cool to give a little bit of a lit element to this one, just to make it seem a little bit more magical. And we are going to fill this with some of our distilled water, and it's important that you use distilled water with the glycerin because it doesn't have all the minerals and chemicals and some of the other stuff that's in there, so it will actually stay nice for much longer than just regular tap water. And I don't want to fill this all the way up because I want us to be able to kind of shake it up and have it mix that way, especially because we're using the lit cork, which it gives a seal, but it's not as good of a seal as, say, a rubber cork or a regular cork. So I want us to be able to mix this by just swirling it rather than physically shaking it. And then we're going to add just a tiny bit of glycerin here. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to keep the water from getting yucky. And again, we'll just kind of swirl that around to mix it in. And now we're going to add in just a little bit of our deep sky blue metallic mica powder, because I wanted this, when you shake it up, to have a little bit of a blue magical surprise to it, that once it settles, it'll be clear, and then you can just kind of shake it up and get the little effect. So I'm just going to start with a little bit here. And again, we're going to mix that in. And I think we're going to want just a little bit more than that, but not much more, because again, I want it to still seem like water, but at the same time, I want it to just kind of have a magical property to it. And I love how you just get the subtle shimmers and swirls in the water. But again, that mica will settle to the bottom, and we'll be left with just the clear water, which I think is going to be a really cool effect for this one. Okay, I added just a tiny bit more. And yeah, I think that's good. We've got a really good little swirl in there, enough to show the movement in the water and the color of the water, and I think that complements the bottle really nicely as well. So from this point, we're going to add our lit cork, and this is one that you actually, it takes a little bit to pull it off, but the end pulls off. And you have the little USB port here, and you can actually charge this. So it doesn't require batteries because you can just charge it that way, and the charge does last a pretty good amount of time. So it's not something you have to charge all the time. Then you just close that back up, and to turn it on and off, we just twist the end. So when we cork it, we get the really great light that will help show that shimmer from our mica powder as well. So at this point, we're going to take our black cording, and we are going to wrap the neck of the bottle just like we have done hundreds of other bottles before. So I'll put a link up above in case you've never seen me actually wrap the neck of a bottle. Now that the neck of my bottle is wrapped, we're going to take our chain, and I kind of want to give this a look of old world to it, kind of like not piratey, but kind of. Where maybe, you know, if you're thinking of Ponce de Leon and his travels to St. Augustine, Florida, where they claim to have the Fountain of Youth, and you can actually go to a Fountain of Youth theme park and all kinds of stuff. I kind of feel like it would have a little bit of a pirate vibe, quote unquote. But I wanted to give this a fancy pirate vibe or old world vibe, and that's why I went with this really pretty silver twisted chain, as well as our little hourglass. And I love that this has the black sand in it that actually runs, which is really cool, because I feel like when you think of Fountain of Youth, you think about turning back the hands of time and making yourself look younger. So I feel like the hourglass is a nice little nod to that. But what we're going to do is kind of drape this loosely, and then we're going to actually pin it together with our hourglass charm here. So then that way it can't come undone, but at the same time it just kind of has a carefree look to it, which I think will look really nice. Okay, so once we get it in the position we want, we're going to take our jump ring and we're going to actually grab both of the chains, and then we're going to use our pliers to pinch it together. Okay, so now that we are all pinned together where it can't move because we have our jump ring on there, I'm going to go ahead and add our hourglass charm to it. So I want to add the charm so that it's kind of off to the side. So I have yet another jump ring here, and I'm going to put it through, I'm going to try to put it through both of them, just so it again kind of locks it into place so that it can't change the design. And once we get it on there, just kind of pinch it shut. Which I'm going to be honest, guys, is not easy to do behind the camera. There we go. So then that way we have our little hourglass on our chain, and it kind of gives this old world vibe to it. Okay, so we have our hourglass on here, our chain's all draped, we are all wrapped up here. We are going to now take our label, print it on sticker paper, and I went around the outside edge like I always do, just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. And we're going to place this on our bottle. So for the moment, I'm going to kick this out of the way just because I want to go ahead and get our label on here. Okay. Let me make sure this is straight. Yeah, I think that's straight. We're going to go ahead and rub this down. Anytime you have a rounded section, just kind of take your nail and you can usually smooth out any of those little creases and get it all rubbed down. And it just kind of adds a little bit more of an aged look to it, so it doesn't hurt anything. Okay, get that all rubbed into place. And now we can kind of mess with our charm and chain. And on the label here, I actually redrew part of a vintage illustration of the Fountain of Youth from, I think it was from the 1700s, but I redrew quite a bit of it and just kind of gave it the essence of the illustration. But I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what the old world views on the Fountain of Youth water was. So that's where we got this design from and kind of used that as my inspiration. So I think that that's done. So now we're going to shake this up. And like I said, I just kind of want to swirl this around. It's going to get the mica in there swirling. And I feel like the magical water swirling effect that we get just really fits with the whole Fountain of Youth vibe. And I had a couple requests for this, so I wanted to go ahead and honor those requests. And I have so many requests from you guys, which is absolutely awesome. I love your guys' requests. They definitely give me some really good ideas. But yeah, this will be a really interesting addition to our potion and prop collection we've been making along the way. And I think it just kind of adds a little bit of whimsy and mythology to our grouping of potions that we have. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.